Welcome to AI. Let's talk about it. Okay, let's unpack this scenario. Imagine you're trying to figure out, how to bring AI into your organization, or maybe just understand it better yourself.
Right.
And someone, maybe in a meeting, throws you a real curveball. Okay, name all the AI lifecycle phases now and the control points and map them to a system diagram.
Wow, yeah. Put on the spot.
Totally. It feels like a test, doesn't it? Like a really specific technical test to see if you've got this checklist knowledge down cold.
It absolutely does. And the implication, I guess, is if you can't rattle that off instantly, maybe you shouldn't be talking AI strategy at all.
Exactly. It feels like that kind of hyper-technical gatekeeping. But
Yeah.
what if? What if that entire line of questioning, even though it sounds impressive, is actually, well, kind of missing the point?
Mm-hmm. That's what's so interesting, and that's really what this deck dive is about today. We want to cut through that exact confusion. We're going to explore what genuine expertise in AI really looks like.
And crucially, the difference between that deep, technical, hands-on implementation stuff and the maybe broader strategic integration side of things, which is often, just as critical, if not more so.
Precisely. Our conversation today is really sparked by an insightful article that looked at this exact scenario, asking whether those tough technical questions are actually the best way to evaluate AI expertise.
Right. So our mission for you listening is to sort of unpack the assumptions hiding behind those super specific technical challenges.
Yeah, we want to reveal the questions that are arguably more important, the questions leaders, and maybe you, should be asking to make sure AI is actually going to succeed in the real world sustainably, responsibly.
Think of this as your shortcut to getting some clarity, quick clarity on navigating all the AI advice out there and figuring out what kind of expertise you really need.
Okay, so let's set that scene again, just like the article does. The challenge laid down is asking this potential AI consultant to basically ace a pop quiz on the spot.
Yeah. List all the phases of the AI lifecycle. Name the control points. Draw the system map. Go.
And, you can see why someone might think that's a good idea. On the surface, it sounds rigorous.
Sure. Like you're checking, they understand the technical nuts and bolts, accountability, all that. It seems like a good test of deep technical knowledge.
Feels like you're properly kicking the tires, as they say.
But the source we're looking at argues this whole challenge rests on at least two pretty big and ultimately flawed assumptions.
Right. And the first major one, it's the assumption that there even is a single, standard, universal AI life cycle out there that everyone should just know.
Like one size fits all.
Exactly. And why is that shaky? Well, because AI isn't just one thing, is it? It's this huge umbrella term. It covers so many different technologies. We're talking machine learning, yeah, but also expert systems, NLP, computer vision, LLMs, which are everywhere now, intelligent automation. It's a real mix.
And each of those probably needs a different approach, different steps.
They absolutely can. Thinking there's one standard process for all of that,
Right.
it's a bit like thinking there's one blueprint for building anything, whether it's a garden shed or, massive skyscraper.
Doesn't quite work like that.
Not really. And the source backs this up with research. They mention reviewing, I think it was over 1,000 articles. And the finding was consistent. These life cycle frameworks for AI and related systems, they vary massively.
So there isn't one single accepted model everyone uses.
No, because it has to adapt, right?
Yeah.
It depends completely on the industry you're in, the specific thing you're trying to do with AI, the regulations you have to follow.
How mature your organization is with tech and data already.
And yeah, the actual technology you're using under that big AI umbrella, they all influence the right life cycle.
The article gave examples, didn't it?
It did. Like a CRISP DM. That's been around a while, good for certain kinds of data analytics projects.
Yeah.
But it wasn't really built for modern AI needs, like continuously monitoring models in production or checking for fairness over time. Or you look at, say, the U.S. Department of Defense, their life cycle. It's heavily weighted towards ethics, field testing, mission impact.
Understandably.
Right, because of the context. That's very different from how, a social media company might develop an AI feature.
And there were others, governance-focused ones.
Yeah, models from the World Economic Forum, OECD. They tend to emphasize governance checkpoints, building trust. Then there's research looking at hybrid models, mixing tech steps with leadership and risk management, or cyclical, agile-style models that still have compliance steps built in.
So the takeaway is, trying to judge someone's AI know-how based on one rigid checklist, it's just not going to work because the real world of AI is way too diverse for that.
It doesn't fit the reality, which leads nicely into the second big flawed assumption the article points out.
Okay, what's on?
That initial technical challenge implies that everyone working in AI needs to be essentially a technical system architect.
Ah, right. The assumption is if you're advising on AI, you must be able to map out all the sub-processes like you're the one building it.
Exactly. Like everyone involved must be an engineer or a data scientist who can get deep into the weeds of system design.
But the article argues that's not necessarily true, or even what you always need.
Precisely. The source makes a really strong case that successful AI adoption needs more than just the builders. There are other crucial roles, other types of expertise that are just as vital.
And this is where they make that distinction between just an AI consultant and an AI business strategist.
Yes, exactly. That AI business strategist role, as the article lays it out, is focused on helping the organization make AI actually work for the business.
Okay, so what does that involve?
It means things like making sure AI investments actually align with the company's overall strategy, setting up the right governance, figuring out how to integrate AI ethically.
Helping choose the right problems for AI, maybe.
Yes, identifying the best use cases, evaluating risks and opportunities that go beyond just the tech. It's about making sure AI supports the business goals and fits the company culture. It's that bridge role.
And the key point about that role, according to this source,
Is that the person doing that job doesn't necessarily need to be the one building the models or coding the pipelines. Their expertise is at a different, more strategic level.
got it. So asking that AI business strategist for a super detailed system diagram.
Is kind of missing the point of their value add. The article uses a great analogy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like asking your CFO, your chief financial officer, to show you the source code for the company's ERP system.
Huh, right. They need to know how to use the system strategically for finance, not how it's coded line by line.
Exactly. Their value isn't in the deep technical architecture, and it's similar with AI strategy. You need that mix. You need the builders, absolutely, but you also need the strategic navigators.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So the article isn't saying, don't ask questions or don't vet people. Leaders obviously need to do that.
Of course. Due diligence is crucial. The core argument is that the questions need to change. They need to align with the actual business problems you're trying to solve and the strategic results you want.
Not just getting bogged down in technical trivia that might be irrelevant for the specific help you need.
Precisely.
So what kind of questions should leaders be asking then? The ones that actually gauge if an advisor can help make AI work properly, sustainably, responsibly.
Well, the source suggests focusing on questions that probe their ability to help the organization get ready. Things like, can they help you assess where you stand with data maturity? How does that line up with your governance plans?
Okay.
Can they articulate the real risks of just automating everything versus the benefits of using AI to augment what people do? That's a subtle but important distinction.
Yeah, it really is. And I think this next one you mentioned is key.
Right. Can they help you actually design an approach, a framework for AI in your context that satisfies the technical needs? Sure, but also builds and keeps the trust of everyone involved, your employees, your customers, regulators, the public.
Those feel like much more strategic, much more impactful questions.
They get to the heart of making AI actually work in the messy real world, beyond just the lab or the code. It pulls the focus onto integrating AI with people, process, policy. The whole picture.
Which ties right into the article's main point about why AI projects sometimes fail, right?
Exactly. The source concludes it's often not because someone missed step 3B on some technical life cycle diagram.
It's usually something bigger.
Much more often, it's a lack of clear strategic direction from the top. Or the company culture just isn't ready for the changes AI brings. Or, crucially, the ethical implications weren't thought through for the beginning.
So AI strategy doesn't really start with the algorithms or the data pipelines then?
According to this perspective, no. It fundamentally begins with intent, with clear governance, with alignment to the actual business objectives. Those are the real starting blocks.
This deep dive, we hoped it would give you, our listener, a bit of a shortcut to clarity in this space. And it feels like we've definitely landed on some important shifts in thinking.
Yeah, I think so. We've seen how leaning too hard on those rigid technical checklists, which are often based on shaky assumptions about universal processes or skills, can really send you down the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
The real value, particularly at that strategic level, seems to lie in finding expertise that can help you navigate that complex zone where technology meets people, process, policy, and ultimately business performance.
Because that intersection, That's where AI truly sinks or swims as a tool for business transformation.
That's hit the nail on the head. The experts who help bridge that gap, they're the ones asking and helping you answer the right questions.
So maybe here's a thought to leave you with, drawing from what we've discussed today based on this source material.
Yeah.
Within your own organization, or maybe just in how you think about AI, how much is the focus really on that strategic intent, the governance, the organizational readiness, versus just the technology itself?
Are the right questions being asked internally, the ones that will really determine if AI is adopted successfully and responsibly for the long haul?
It's definitely something to consider.
And if this conversation has got you thinking and you'd like to dig deeper into these themes on your own time, the insights we've explored today resonate strongly with the ideas in Shelley Meadows' book, From Data to Decisions: AI Insights for Business Leaders.
Right. That could be a great next step.
Yeah, it's a really valuable resource if you're looking to understand how to effectively connect AI technology with successful, practical business strategy. Definitely worth checking out.
Excellent. Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive. Thanks for joining us on AI. Let's talk about it.